Hey, what's up? It's Greg from Fishermans Headquarters, and today is August 1st. I'm here on the north end, Barnegat Light, here to share an updated fishing report with you folks. Can't believe August is already here. It's great to see we got some good action here in the Long Beach Island area in terms of fishing, off the surf, in the inlet, and also the bay, also the midshore and offshore grounds too. There's a lot of different species right now. We've got somewhat of fluctuating water temperature. Seems like when you get the warmer water temperatures, fishing's good. Colder water temperatures, fishing's a little on the slower side. But with that fluctuating water temperature, we've got a lot of different species that are currently here right now. Main kind of, say, spotlight would be mostly for fluke. Fluke would be your best bet, fishing in the bay, fishing the inlet, fishing the surf, also say the inshore waters. I had a great time today and also yesterday getting out doing some fluke fishing. If you saw the kind of the conditions today, it was definitely a breezy one out of the north. Wind's kind of still kicking out of northeast right now. This morning was much stiffer than it was forecasted. Most forecasters call it about 5 to 10. I think it was probably blowing a solid 10 to 15 this morning. Anybody who went out offshore definitely had a bumpy one for sure. But yeah, got out, did some fluke fishing in the bay. Had a family, the Hill family, and a couple daughters, the mom and dad, and we got in some good fun fishing in the bay. Catch some smaller bluefish, also catch some fluke. Tried weak fishing, got some live grass shrimp this morning. Tried doing a little grass shrimp action, first time of the season trying that, and it was not a success, did not catch any. We only put about, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes in and switched gears, and I went to fluke and started catching a bunch of fluke. So I know the group had a bunch of fun. It was a great way to introduce saltwater fishing to the young guns in the family. Yesterday, I guess I was out fishing some local wrecks and reefs. Had some good fun fishing, some sea bass, some fluke. I think the biggest fish was 24-inch. Forget the names, but once again, father and 2 kids. Great to see the youth getting on board Fish Head Charters. Also did a youth day with the Cub Scouts just recently. If you follow us on Instagram, you see I did a little quick reel I posted just the other day. Local, I guess it is Cub Scouts 94 out of Egg Harbor Township, which my cousin helps out and runs. As far as the updated fish report here for the Long Beach Island area, I did mention the fluke in the area. Surf fishing is definitely going to be mostly focused around that right now. There are some small blues off the beach, but fluke would definitely be your best bet for a good fun action and also good table fare. Heard of some really good sized fish. It's been pretty consistent bite now for a number of weeks. Really all summer we've had some good solid fishing off the front beach of LBI with fluke. Most of that action is going to be on fishing 4 and 5-inch gulp baits. You can fish the gulp grubs, swimming mullets. Another option would be the jerk shads. There's a good stretch of sand eels here. Saw sand eels today in Barnegat Inlet. At times they're up on the beach. You'll probably see the birds tipping off to where they are. There's also some spearing around. I know some smaller schools, little piles of them are pushing around too. Also some peanut bunker. Snagged cold peanut bunker today, casting lures to some bluefish. So with the abundance of bait, you'll kind of want to match that hatch. But off the surf, I'd be fishing either a 5-inch or 4-inch pink shine grub, or white grub, or chartreuse grub if the water's dirty, or a jerk shad, which is a little more slender, more like a sand eel bait. You can also fish the gulp sand eels. Could use the shrimps too. I actually had a little bit of success fishing a wreck yesterday, fishing the gulp shrimp. Basically, to me, it resembles a baby lobster. Actually had one bigger fish spit up a baby lobster tail, maybe, I don't know, 2-inch, 3-inch tail that it spit up. Started fishing the gulp shrimp and was catching the fish doing that. So that's kind of cool. Most people use the gulp shrimps in the bay, but don't overlook them out if you're fishing out in the reefs and wrecks. As far as the reefs and wrecks go, there are a good amount of sea bass around. Also sheep's head around. A lot of good time summer fishing. Tony Butch reported getting out with his son. I guess that was yesterday. If not yesterday, it was the day before. Got on some big old dinner plate size triggerfish. Some good sheep's head action being reported in the back bay, certain areas. Also in the inlet and the rocks, occasionally. Nothing spectacular. It's not an epic bite, but there's anglers that are putting in the work and catching a few. Best bait for those would be fiddler crabs, which are hard to get, but also sand fleas, sand crabs, mole crabs. We've got those in stock. As far as baits right now, we also have live eels. Some anglers are using them to target the cobia that are around. Seems like cobia fishing's been fairly good. It's not an epic fishery, but there's definitely a number of fish being caught. Friend of the shop, Just in Time, Justin Swanson, he was out, he runs a charter service out of Belmar, but he's always in the area here. He just was fishing the tuna grounds, which are kind of halfway between Barnegat Light and Belmar, say off the Manasquan seaside area. There's some good tuna fishing taking place inshore, and it's been taking place for a number of weeks. I know he got a nice cobia the other day. Also, Tyler Leary, store staffer, he was out. He got a beautiful cobia there, I guess, a day or so ago this week. He said if one of the fishes came up on a balloon that he had set out with some baits. Most of these boats are either catching mackerel or catching squid and then live lining them. Sometimes you float them out. He's floating around a balloon. He said that the cobia actually came up and ate the balloon, decided to cast a nice little lure at it. His choice was to go with the no live bait needed, and sure enough, they swallowed it right up. So if you're looking for cobia, no live bait needed, definitely a great choice. Great lure for fishing for striped bass, but definitely a good one to check out. Your options or availability to a hungry cobia. Most time cobia are going to be on the bunker pods. Sometimes they'll be around some buoys, some structure. I guess they were kind of around that mackerel or that squid pile. So stoked to see Tyler got one. I'm stoked to see these other ones getting caught. I mentioned a little bit about the mackerel and squid. You can go out there and catch those. Most of the actions, I'd say 50, 60, 70, 80 foot of water, even a little deeper sometimes. But mostly 60 to 70 foot of water, you should be able to fish, should be able to find some mackerel and some squid out in the lumps, out in the wrecks. Dropping a small squid jig, you can catch them. Obviously calamari is great eats. It's not really something that's super popular here inshore. We do have sometimes a late summer, early fall fishery where they come inshore, but right now they're in the inshore lumps. So get out there and jig up some. While you're at it, put a nice 6.0 to 8.0 circle hook in there with some heavy fluorocarbon, and maybe you raise a big old bluefin. Bluefin action's been pretty strong and solid, consistent. Some days are spotty. It's not an epic bite where every boat's slamming them, but there's certain days where there's 40, 50, 60 boats kind of jammed together. It kind of spread out across some of these areas, these inshore lumps. Not so far from Barnegat Light, some small boat action, but also the big boats are getting into it. Most of the action's gonna be the live baits, but I know there's some fish caught in the jig. Brian Sabarisi, shout out to him. I fish with him all the time. He's at a couple of these local restaurants here. If you guys are familiar with, say, the Daymark or maybe the Arlington. Those are two of his restaurants. Or La Riva, the new pizzeria here in Barnegat Light. Hopefully you check those restaurants out. They're awesome places. I fished with Brian often, but I didn't get out recently with him. But he went out and took his son out Sawyer and got his first tuna on the jig. They were fishing the midshore grounds. They were fishing with some bait. And I guess they marked one. Sawyer dropped the jig real quick and got bit. So don't overlook, say, throwing a popper or a jig. The pop and bite's been pretty good this year. I have heard some action still going on at the midshore areas that are normally holding yellowfin tuna this time of year. Some days are good, some days are not. I guess I could tack back into more of the inshore reports here. I mentioned the cobia, mentioned sheep's head, mentioned triggers, sea bass, fluke. I will mention that a Tackle Shop Boulevard Bait and Tackle, I believe the owner's name is Cam, caught a monster, I think it was 46-inch redfish, something we don't really see that common here. Not rare, but it's definitely not a common catch. But we do get some redfish, more so in the summertime and fall. Most times smaller, say puppy drum and stuff like that. But this is a beautiful redfish, 46-incher. He caught yesterday. The Tsunami rep actually shared it with me, said, hey, look, this guy was out fluke fishing one of the local wrecks, reefs off of South Jersey, was fishing with gulp, was fishing with Tsunami rod, and latched into a solid one. So that was an awesome, say, somewhat uncommon catch, but not rare. Hopefully there'll be some other ones caught. I can share here where we're at in the beginning of the month of August. That means we are kicking off the tog season. Right now, I guess it's August 1st to I think November 15th. It's gonna be one fish bag limit, 15-inch minimum size. Normally, this time of year during that one fish bag, the inshore, nearshore, onshore fishing is good. Barnegat Light Jetty is normally a really good spot to fish this time of year. It's probably not on fire right now with good quality fish, but it's probably some smaller fish. But it's not worth it's worth a shot to go up there while you're up there, maybe casting for some bluefish. There were some smaller blues around this morning. There were some bigger blues. If you looked at my last report, posted a really big bluefish caught by Todd Luber's father I forget his name, sorry for that. He got a big one the other day, but today we were catching some small ones. I'd say a little bigger than snappers, but you know, say 1 to 2 pounders, cocktails, between snapper to cocktail size. I guess different times, different tides, you'll probably see some bigger ones and smaller ones. But the ones I had this morning were chasing around sand eels, because that's what they spit up on the deck of my boat. And they were also chasing around little peanut bunker. When I say peanut bunker, real small peanut bunker, about the size of a peanut, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe 1 to 2 inch baits. I didn't really see any bigger baits than that. The sand eels are real slender baits. They're probably about the 4-inch range. When I did switch over to fluke, I actually used the sand eel gulp and caught some fluke on that. So I know the fluke are keyed on those sand eels too, even here in the bay. Like I mentioned, very windy conditions, so I couldn't go and fish where I wanted to fish. Kind of had to do with what do best with what I was dealt, and that's what we did. We had fun. We caught a lot of fish, so that was good fun. I can share, there's some sharks around, some rays. Yesterday, hooked into a big old cow nose. I've caught cow nose for years, and sometimes you get them and you're least expecting it. Sometimes you see a bunch of them and you say, uh-oh, I'm about to snag one. But this one picked us up. We were fishing on the wreck, picked us up and actually hooked it right in the mouth. It swallowed a 6-inch gulp grub on a jig. Fortunately, the youth angler on board, was ready for the fight. He really wanted to find some line pulling fun. And I think he left himself with a sore arm and definitely a tight line for a while, but he did a good battle with it, brought it to the boat, and we successfully released it, got the hook out, and that was good, but it was definitely a fight on some light action fluke tackle. So props to that youth angler, sorry I forget your name, yesterday. Yeah, basically right now, here we are. Summer's still grinding on, ramping up into this, say month of August. It's normally a really good month for fishing here in Long Beach Island, really good month for fishing the bay. Hopefully we have some more weak fish showing up. I just saw a couple fish caught recently, weekies. Fluke fishing should still be good. A lot of these flukes are gonna be exiting the bay, but you can still catch fluke here really all summer long. Inlet's definitely a great opportunity to fish Barnegat Light Inlet, whether you're going for fluke, whether you're going for blues. There's still some striped bass around. With those fluctuating water temperatures I mentioned earlier in this report, those colder water upwellings from the south wind, gets those striped bass a little more active. Caught a few of them, I reported back, say a week or so back. I noticed a few days ago, heard some good reports. I know one angler was, or one boat was Captain Jeff Davis, Let It Fly charters out of Barnegat Light. Also Allen, Night Watch charters. I know Mark Finelli on Laura Sport Fishing. All of them reported some good action catching blues and striped bass recently. Stoked to see that. The striped bass most of the time are going to be fished or caught on light tackle, cast retrieving lures. For me, this summer, it's been best on the smaller size, the 13 Daiwa SP minnow in a bone or a natural color. When I say natural, that's like a black back chrome. They call it a shiner. There's also laser shiner, sardine. A few different colors there. Very fishy for me. I like the 13 size right now. It's a little smaller than the 15. That'd be 13 centimeters or 130 millimeters, or the 15 centimeters. The 15's a little on the bigger side, but you can catch them. I was just fishing the 13. Also the Rapala X-Rap. It's a little more aggressive swimming lure than the SP minnow. Has a bigger lip, it's gonna dive down, dig in. Actually was trolling them today because I had the youth on board, it was pretty windy. I didn't want them kind of casting lures in every which direction. So I trolled a couple of those, a couple little Yozuri mag minnows, and a couple Rapalas, and we were catching bluefish kind of putting around up here not so far from my dock here in Barnegat Light where the small birds were. We were picking away at fish. If you've got an open stretch of area and there's some birds around, they're scattered, I suggest doing that. It's an easy way to find fish, especially for the kids. You can drift and cast or retrieve, but sometimes when it's windy, it can be challenging, especially if you're, say, casting skill levels a little bit on the newer side, say rookies. Don't discount trolling around, catch a lot of fish that way. Just don't do it in areas where there's boats kind of zigzagging every which direction. You can kind of be a little bit of a hazard to others. Just use your best judgment. But yeah, basically here we are. Long Beach Island has awesome fishing right now. Get down to LBI, stop by Fisherman's Headquarters and get geared up. We're here to help you out. You want information on what's going on, how to go about it, where to go fishing, what to use, some different access points. Maybe you want to go clamming or crabbing. We've got clamming rakes in stock. We've got more coming soon. We got clamming supplies, whether you're looking for a commercial style pot to put off your backyard dock, catch some crabs, you're looking for some hand lines, crabbing nets, maybe looking for crab traps to go off a local bulkhead or different public areas. There's great crabbing in the local area, whether you're fishing the bay side, the west side of LBI, or fishing the west side of the Barnegat Bay or Manahawkin Bay. There's definitely a lot of different areas in the mainland and also LBI to go. Crabbing, lots of public docks, public bulkheads from Barnegat all the way to Beach Haven. If you're looking for crabbing information, clamming information, fishing information, stop by Fisherman's Headquarters here in Ship Bottom. If you're looking for fishing tackle, for sure swing in, ask for help. You can browse our selection. We've got a lot of different lures for striped bass, bluefish. Awesome selection for fluke, from jigs to rigs, everything in between. If you're looking for rod, reel service, looking for reel parts, we've got you covered. Also have a great selection of nets, cast nets, sunglasses, rods, reels, tackle, you name it. We've got everything from A to Z. We've been rock and rolling, helping anglers like you catch more fish since 1962. If you don't know who we are, welcome you to stop by Fisherman's Headquarters or shop online at fishermansheadquarters.com. Be sure to follow our fish reports at fishinglbi.com. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a comment below. Hopefully we brought some value to you now and throughout the entire season. Best of luck fishing to you. Have a great day.